Hi guys, welcome on my first Houdini tutorial, and today we're gonna have a look at RenderMan. I was so psyched about this new release, I had to do something. So we're gonna see how to install it on Windows and run our first render. All you need to do is to go to the website and click try for free. You're just gonna have to fill in this form. They're gonna send you the install of RenderMan for Houdini and everything. So you just execute the .exe, just run the install. Then the part a bit tricky is that you got to edit a bit of variable environment. So it's not ideal, but it works. So you just open the houdini.env. Yep, and in there you're gonna need to copy those lines here. Just pay attention because you're gonna need to tweak a few things, like the version of RenderMan you're using. Right now it's 22.6, so you may want to adapt that and replace it. What else? Yeah, there is also the Houdini version, of course. You may wanna change that depending you're using Houdini 17.5 or 17. Also, the direction of the slash. I know that for my Windows machine, it didn't really recognize them and wasn't able to launch RenderMan. So once I set everything to the right direction, it started working. So try to pay attention to that, and that should be fine. So let's start the scene. Here is Gribble object I generated with a procedural setup. You can actually go and get it into the description below. There is a link to my Dropbox. So download it and load that into Houdini. Let's unback this Alembic. It's gonna allow you to access all the attributes stored in it. So as you can see, we got a CD color attribute into the point and some groups for window, structure, metal, some glowy box that we're gonna use, and yeah, should be cool. So we're gonna set up the RenderMan. So let's drop a rope network, and inside you have to create a RenderMan node. We're gonna set the camera first to whatever camera we are using. So I'm gonna use my render cam. Next step is we're gonna need to provide integrator for RenderMan. So it's gonna be a path tracer. You need to create a shop network, and inside you create a RenderMan network, dive in it, and from there you have to create an integrator. So what is an integrator? Actually, RenderMan offers you different range of path tracer. The most common is the pixel path tracer, which works great into outside scene with high spec elements and stuff. Then you have the Pixar VCM, which is more for some intricate refraction with volumes, and the Pixar UPBP, which is for caustic, volume caustic actually. So I really advise you to go and check out the docs provided by RenderMan. They got a lot of explanation if you're interested. We're just gonna use a Pixar path tracer. We just need to reference that into the integrator like that. One of the things is, like, if you don't have the shelf, just make sure it's enabled and you can access all the main tools, light, material for RenderMan. So let's drop a dome light. So we're gonna go ahead and load a texture for our dome light. I highly recommend this website, HDRI Haven. They got a wide range of outdoor, indoor picture with like wide range of in terms of size, and those guys are amazing. So I'm gonna try the setup bridge. In combination, we could use a distant light to generate like a kind of sun. I'm gonna rotate it a bit, yeah, like that. I think with the camera we should get some pretty decent lighting. Let's decrease a bit the intensity on the dome, and then we just need to launch the IPR. It's taking a bit of time, but as you can see, we got a very cool white cube. It's no material, nothing, just the light. We're gonna need to put a bit of color onto that stuff, don't you think? So one of the first things is gonna be to extract the color that are registered into the points and apply that as a diffuse in our material. So let's first try to isolate this object, which is like structure. Let's delete the non-selected to isolate it. Yep, now that's fine. We got the proper group. Just copy and paste the blast node and uncheck delete non-selected, so we got the rest of the geo somewhere. Now we're gonna try to assign the material and start to set up a shader for this guy. So to do that, we're gonna create a Pixar material builder. I'm gonna dive into it and create the most generic material, which is the Pixar Disney. From there, we're gonna need to extract the attribute. We're gonna use a primvar, Pixar primvar, and plug that into the base color. So back on the geometry, if we check out the attributes, we see that we got no primitive attribute, just point attribute. So let's start and actually copy the CD attribute with an attribute wrangle. To do that, we're just going to create an attribute call add color, for example. That could be anything really, we don't care. Just create add color. It's v add color equal add CD. If we check out the spreadsheet, we got like the proper values. Cool. So you see we got a color, but it's still in the points. So now we got to promote it into the primitive. To do that, let's drop an attribute promote and change an attribute promote, grab our color attribute and change the new class to primitive. Now you see we got a primitive attribute that we can use in our primvar. So let's grab the material that we just created into the RIS network. Pixar material builder. Here we go. So let's dive into it, and we need to change the name to what we just created, which is color, and it's a vector. So hopefully everything should be set up to actually get the color we had on our alembic. Let's run the IPR. So you see we start to get some variation into the colors. We got some darker panels and stuff, but we might want to have some more contrast into it. To do that, we want to remap the color attributes that we have. Let's just grab the attribute wrangle and start to type chramp, which stands for ramp control, and we're gonna create a label that's gonna be remap. Close the parentheses, and now when we click on the plus, that's like on the right, it's creating the controllers we wanted That's awesome. It's just like the Photoshop curve. So we just drag some point on a curve and it's gonna, in that case, lower the midpoint to something darker. And here we are tweaking the high values into something darker as well. Oops. My laptop doesn't like it. All right. That might do the trick actually. So let's render again. I believe in you, RenderMan. You can do it. Come on. It's lagging. Oh. Yeah, that's much better. Now we're talking. So everything that was kind of pale and everything's got more contrasted. We got some bright panels, some nice contrast going on. Now we may want to tweak a bit the shader, so let's crank up the specular. We could crank up a bit the metallic. It's looking cool. It's looking cool. Yeah, some nice specular going on. That's looking a bit more sci-fi. We may want to break up a bit the roughness. So to do that, we're going to create a pixel fractal. Just a quick, something quick to break up the spec, really. I'm going to remap that. So let's just plug, no, not this one, the result RGB, and plug just one of the float channel, I guess, into the roughness. We might want to tweak. May want to tweak a bit the frequency and the main dimension, maybe. All right. The pixel remap. So yeah, now let's decrease a bit the roughness. So we got something sharper. Yeah, something between 0.1, 0.3 sounds about right. Sounds right. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Next step. Well, let's rename that. So it's gonna be structure material, and we're gonna create the others real quick with Pixar Disney again, and rename that window, which is gonna create a black material for that guy. Then another one for the metal. So black color, we don't need any diffuse. Crank up the metallic, spec, a low roughness so it's still kind of sharp like chrome, call it metal. And let's use a constant for the glowy lights. I'm gonna put a red color, red glow, copy and paste this guy, gonna call it green glow, and give like a yellow greenish kind of vibe. Should be cool. Let's go back to the geometry. We're gonna merge the result of the panels with the rest and applying and start assigning the material. I'm gonna speed up a bit this section because it's not so interesting. It's basically assigning the proper group with the proper shader. So window goes with window goes with window, metal with metal. You get the idea, right? Keep going. That's like pretty boring step, but I have to do it at some point. Let's make the green glow with the emissive sphere. Poof. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. Now we can relaunch the render. Yep, that would be a good first pass, I guess. We could actually go ahead and tweak the lighting, add some blue so it actually acts like a multiplier, and crank up a bit the sun to get more contrast. Next step would be create a more detailed procedural setup for the texture. Why not using some volumetrics to try to make a more Blade Runner atmosphere kind of thing. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any question or request, don't hesitate to drop it in the comment section. Please subscribe and like, that would mean the world to me. You can also follow me on Instagram, Vimeo, YouTube. Thanks again, and everyone stay awesome. See you in the next video.